as an archive instead of trying to hold a live class unless you do it kind of on off-peak hours. To archive, it's pretty simple. Click this record button up in the top right. Hit OK.
Archiving started.
Now everything we say and do in the room is being archived. This also includes any chat that is going on here. This is a great way for students to be really scared not to use a chat for inappropriate purposes. You can just say, yes, the chat is being archived. I say that, but private messages are not. But they don't necessarily know that off the bat. So what will happen is in the archive, it'll basically launch chat so you can actually follow along with all the text dialogue that's going along as well. These P's over here, they're actually, so you can preview your next slide in case you didn't have your outline there in front of you. So you can see what it is. Then you can just go ahead and push that slide to the room if you want to change it. These pins basically means that you're in the whiteboard. So that means you can annotate over any of these slides. Under the web, you can actually push your students a website. This is great for special research projects or just a resource. The negative about this is that it doesn't show you navigating the website. It's just a pure push. So you say, here's a great article, here, minimize it, come back to the chat room. That way, once the lecture's done, they have that resource and they don't have to go dig for it. eBoard is basically what we're in now. eBoard will either give you just a basic whiteboard, and you can actually clear slide. And now we just have a whiteboard, so we can do any annotations or anything here. But that's basically what the eBoard is a whiteboard.
Is that eBoard part of your lecture slides then, or that is separate?
That's a separate. It's just kind of, you can either use it with your slides, so you could actually have content when you build your slides and leave a white space in the slides, or you can just use eBoard by itself as just a pure blank slate, and you can do it any time. It's just kind of however you build your presentation.
But that would be a separate file then.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Will that disappear, Brian, then you move to the next slide?
Yes, it will. It will. Yes. If you do not want it to disappear, there's a save, which will basically take a picture of all the annotations that you've done, and it will put it over there in the place where you did it. So if you ever want to go back and reference it, hit save, basically take a snapshot of it so you can go back and reference it.
If you were wanting to build, say you were wanting to show part of an equation, and go on and talk about some other things, come back and then build on that equation, and share later, pull information back in.
There is. You'll have to take a lot of snapshots, though, is the thing. Each time you go back and forth, you'll want to hit save each time. And the negative about that is it should produce, basically replicates each time. So you'll actually see your progress over time on that. That's the only negative about that right now. The share button, it's a really cool tool. It basically allows you to share your desktop or a student's desktop. You need to make sure your students do not have dial-up because it's not going to work. You're streaming video from their desktop and back forth. The neat thing about this, especially with office hours, is I could actually select Archer's desktop here, and I can also have cursor control. So I can actually control the student's desktop. So that way, if they're working on a project, instead of them zipping it all up to me and sending it to me through email or through K-State Online, I can actually just say, hey, jump in the Wimba room real fast, let me take a look at it, and you can make any corrections or changes, but then they can keep going without you having to unzip it, look at it, and then send it back to the student. You can do it all remotely, which is great for a lot of different things, also just general collaboration, just for students, especially in the groups. They can actually open up PowerPoint, and all the students can actually build the PowerPoint together instead of having one person as a dedicated user. And I won't show Archer's. Actually, yeah, Archer, can I show your desktop?
Yeah, you can.
Okay. And And what he's doing, he actually has to select. He can either show his whole desktop or a screen area. That's up to the student. And he just did a screen area. You can see kind of the lines up there where he's kind of dragging that window. And so now I can actually come in here. I'm going to take control real fast, Archer.
Okay.
So I can come in here and say, I can take control of his computer basically and say, nope, this is where the phone bridge is, or anything else, or use any other program as well.
You can't like drill down into his hard drive or anything like that.
No, you can if you go to my computer and everything else and just keep going lower and lower and lower. They might start getting a little suspicious and be like, hey, where are you going? The nice thing about this is, Archer, go ahead and kill my connection. Students can actually take away the connection too. So if they're saying, hey, where are you going? They can actually kill it.
And are you sharing that, or have you taken over?
We're sharing. Yep. Yeah, and so he took it back. It said my cursor control had been disabled, and so now app share is ended. So that's kind of one of the neat functions.
Can the students do that to your desktop too?
You actually can. One caveat, make sure your email and gradebook and everything else is closed, just the normal stuff. Because they might accidentally click on something that, whoop, and everybody's grades are posted. So just make those kind of precautions. But yes, that is another great way that you can share back and forth.
Right.
Yes.
Can you show me where you got that?
It's just under share, and then you basically select whose screen and cursor controls. By default, if I clicked Archer, it would just be his cursor. But if I want to keep it too, and you'll notice he still has his cursor, but now I also have it too. So
does that mean that you can both work at the same time?
yes, you could be fighting over the mouse a little bit, but theoretically, yes.
I'm sorry, one more question about that. Would everybody in the room see Archer's desktop at this point?
Yes, everybody would see what's going on.
So if you choose that, then everybody's seeing that.
Right.
Can you only have an individual?
What you would do at that point is you would basically schedule office hours like you would anything else. Say, here's the calendar, here's the time slots. That way it's only one person in a room at a time. All of these too is you can put it in this content frame or a new window. So if you have dual monitors, sometimes you might want to put it to the second window so you have a little bit more real estate to work with. Let's see.
Are links from, if you have links to websites in your PowerPoint, can you link from this to?
Yes, you sure can. Yeah.
something?
Yeah. So we had these kind of on-the-fly polling, but you can actually create rich text polls here in the course as well. And what will happen is, go ahead and submit something there, Archer. As soon as he picks something here. All right, so it basically tells me I only have 2 people in the room. I'm one of them. So 50% of the room has responded. So you can actually kind of see the progress and saying, okay, we have 75%, keep going. For the instructor, you can actually preview what they've answered. By default, we have stripped out their names for who answered what. We can turn that back on. So if you are wanting to kind of pin down per user by a grade basis for participation, you can do that. Then you can just hit publish. Once you hit publish, it pushes it out to the entire room. Students don't see it until you hit that publish button. Now, while we talked about that Wimba content link at the very beginning where nobody uses, this is where this data is stored. It's stored as a CSV file. So you can go grab that information at any time from there.
How did you get that question?
That's actually through the Wimba content, and I will show you that at the end because it's unfortunately, the Wimba content is very cumbersome. It was designed by Wimba as a server kind of application, and we haven't had a chance to get our hands on it to make it more user-friendly. So it's pure Wimba server. So it's not as intuitive as we would like.